It's funny because the delivery driver that delivered this thing said that he saw the box and he said it looked like there must be a monster inside trying to get out. Well, there sort of is. This is one of those implements that could potentially really hurt somebody. This is a spike aerator, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it as soon as we can figure out how to get it out of the box in a safe manner. I will say though, I really like the way that Titan packaged this implement. You can see it's got a steel framework that goes all the way around it. That way, you know, it can't get damaged, at least not very easily, in shipment. You know, this is the type of thing that Westendorf should have done with that brush crusher, and then I wouldn't have had to spend time trying to figure out how to bend it all back out straight again. So this is much, much better packaging, at least. So as I expected, this was turning into a little bit of a project trying to get this thing out of here without getting tore up. Because this metal's really sharp and they've got a lot of wire twisted up in here, and obviously the implement itself will eat you up if you get too close to it. So he's cutting the wire off on the corners, and then we're going to try and just lift it up out of here. All right, that's all right. Now that it's loose, it should come up out of there, I think. And try it and see. It's like wedged in there. Don't hit the implement. Something tells me that once we finally do get it out of here, we're gonna have to buy some yellow paint. Okay, we finally got it up out of the box, thanks to AJ helping me. That's sort of a two-man job getting this thing up out of the box, but it's put together now. So let's go over a couple of things real quick. First of all, I think I've decided to keep that metal framework over there, because as you can see, this thing is super dangerous. If you've got it parked somewhere, you're not using it, you know, somebody could fall over it, or a kid could fall over it, or an animal could fall over it, you know. So I think I'm going to keep that. And when I'm not using this thing, I might park it like way out there in the corner up against a fence, and then just set that over top of it. And that should at least help keep from having somebody fall on it. But anyway, this one has some 19mm nuts. The only part you really have to assemble is the upper top link here. You've got to bolt that on. It's got 4 bolts over there. And then you stick the kickstand on. Everything else was assembled right out of the box. Now on the other side of the drum, there's a plug so you can put water in this thing. The packing slip said that this weighs 190 pounds empty, but I think you can put up to 40 gallons of water in it. So you can more than double its weight by filling it up with water. You know, if you want to do some like ground leveling while you're aerating, I guess you could do that. Now the other thing, obviously this is a spike aerator. You can see the spikes. And the other really common type that you see is called a core aerator or a plug aerator. And the difference is that it has like a hollow spoon out here that's bevel cut. So it'll still puncture the ground, but the difference is the core aerators actually remove a plug of dirt as they're working. So, you know, you can imagine taking a plug of soil up out of the ground. Now sometimes that's beneficial. If you've got a really well established and really healthy lawn, you know, you can do that once a year, and it opens up larger holes in the ground for nutrients and fertilizer and seed, water, everything to go down into. So some people like those plug aerators. Our grass out here is not well established, and it's not quite where I want it to be. So I didn't want to take a chance on damaging the ground or ripping up any of the existing grass that we do have out there. So I thought that the spike aerator would be a better option for us because it's not quite as hard on the turf. it just punctures some holes in the ground, but it doesn't actually dislodge any soil. So that's kind of what I wanted to go with. So we'll see how this works. You run over your yard with this real well, and it should pretty much decompact everything. And that was the main thing I wanted to do, was just decompact the soil, because like I said, when we had that fence built, the guys had trucks and tractors and trailers and everything out there, and pretty much mashed the soil down really hard. And we've got a couple of Aussies that run out there all the time now too, so it's pretty compacted out there. But hopefully this thing will cure that problem. And then what I'm thinking is, I got a couple of acres to do here, which would be really expensive to seed. So I think I'm going to let the grass come up a little taller, because once it comes up a little taller, it'll start producing its own seed, obviously. And so I might give it a chance this year to try and replenish itself a little bit. Let the plants go to seed, and then mow it in a certain pattern so that it kind of throws the seed around evenly. And just kind of use nature's way of reseeding. That'd be a heck of a lot cheaper, that's for sure. So that's the plan. Aerate, let it grow tall and seed out on its own, and then mow it. And then maybe later in the summer, it'll thicken up on its own. So we checked the grease fittings. They do have grease fittings down there. Got little green plastic safety nipples on there, but we took those off and checked, and they did have some grease in there from the factory already, from the manufacturing facility. So we put just a little bit of grease in there, checked all these bolts, they were already tight. Of course, we had to put that one part on. So I mean, that's pretty simple. Should be ready to use now. I think I'm gonna try it without water first and just see how it works. I don't know, what do you think? Should we put water in it? Huh? Think so? I mean, it might work better. We do have some rough areas out there. I think if you put water in it, it would kind of mash down, molehills and imperfections. Like right now it's wet out there because we had a lot of rain. So this thing would probably work really well if we put water in it and made it heavy. Yeah, maybe we'll try that. Well, I'll tell you one thing for sure. This implement is a whole lot easier to hook up than the other ones. Being only 190 pounds empty, you can actually manhandle it and move it around a little bit. Looks like I got the wrong upper link holes. I need to go to this one. That's for Cat 2. I made a mistake there, but it was pretty easy to hook up. So now I just need to go fill it up with some water, give it a shot. So I just took a couple of passes over the yard here, and you can kind of see it will kind of take a few plugs about, but it's not nearly as large of a plug as like the core aerators would do. So I still don't think this is going to be as harsh on the turf, but it should work out pretty good. I'll try to get some footage of it actually in action here in a couple of days, but for now, Toby's ready to go play frisbee, so we'll catch you guys later. So this is the grass seed that I've been putting out. It's Kentucky 31, tall fescue. A lot of people don't like this, but if you're doing a large area like this, it's a pretty good option. It's economical, and it seems to handle drought. If we have those summer droughts, it handles really wet areas and wet times of the year as well. So, it just does a pretty good all-around job. So that's what I've been putting out on the yard, and, I've had pretty good success with it. So again, you can kind of see what it's doing here. You know, it's just poking a lot of holes in the ground. It's not really dislodging a lot of soil. It's basically just punching holes in the ground. And you know, in some areas up there, you know, when you start to turn the tractor, the binding effect will kind of dislodge a little bit of soil, but still not nearly as much as a core or a plug aerator will. So hopefully I'm gonna go over this some more, and then I'm gonna seed it. And you know, the idea is that with the nutrients and the seed and the oxygen being able to get down into the top layer of the soil, you know, it should help this to bounce back pretty quickly. You can see here the grass is just now starting to turn green here in Kentucky. This is the first week we've seen green grass. It's beginning to grow a little bit. So I feel like right now is the time to go ahead and get this done. And then, like I said, hopefully it'll shoot up and it'll have a better chance of thriving this year. And also, this is the rainy season, so it's naturally just a good time to seed and, you know, put your fertilizer out. So I'm gonna finish this up, but that's a look at the Titan Attachments Spike Aerator. This is a 5-footer, by the way, and I probably could have got a 6-footer, but I don't know. I felt like that this one would do a pretty good job because it's almost the same width as the tractor. See, it's about the same width as the tractor, so I felt like this would be a good option, you know. But anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching as always. I'm gonna try and finish this up before the rain hits, because we've got some rain rolling in today. So we'll talk to you guys later.